Knobcon coverage brought to you by Signal Sound and Befaco, Future Sound Systems, Low Gain Electronics, Steady State Fit, Funk, and Expert Sleepers. So we're here at Knobcon with Dina Pearlman and Chris Meyer.
Hello.
How's the show?
Great.
Yeah, it's been great fun. It's nice to get back together with people again and hear a lot of music, see a lot of new modules and stuff.
Yeah, that's been my highlight this morning. I bumped into Dina at breakfast, which is great. Chris, we know each other anyway. But
yeah, it's a great social show, though, for that.
Yeah, fantastic. So we want to talk about the ARP Foundation, and we'll maybe start with what the ARP Foundation is.
Sure. The ARP Foundation is a 501c3, which is a not-profit, so
Okay.
we're charity status, and our mission is to preserve the legacy of my father, Alan R Pearlman, what he did, and also to further that legacy by promoting programs for young entrepreneurs and young musicians. So enabling our future generations to create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris, this may be the first time people have seen you specifically in an ARP Foundation setting.
Yes.
What's your involvement? Why are you here?
I recently joined as a board member. I mean, just in general, I just love the history synthesis, and I love studying what people have done and seeing what we can borrow from the past and apply that to today. And there was a lot of innovative things in the early ARP instruments, particularly 2500, 2600, et cetera. So it's been really fun to connect with Dina, and now I'm a board member of the foundation and trying to get the word out more about the history of these instruments and get people access to the instruments today.
That was a really exciting thing that we were talking about earlier, that there is access, there are lines into this history and these instruments.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
ARPsforall is the foundation's direct line in accessing these instruments. One of the things we've done is to create a collection in Boston. My father spent the majority of his life in Boston, and that's where ARP Instruments, the company that created these, was located. And we decided to bring a collection, or amass a collection, I should say, because it's still a work in progress, to a not-for-profit recording studio and rehearsal space. And one of the reasons why is because they're aligned with what we want to do, which is music making accessible.
Yeah.
So budget notwithstanding, level notwithstanding, you can go in there and walk in off the street and for as little as $10 an hour, use the studio, and the instruments are part of the studio.
Yeah.
And we are hoping to increase our collection. We are getting some magical instruments coming in.
Okay.
Yes. We don't have a formal announcement of when it's happening, but sometime before the end of the year, we'll be getting an ARP 2500 wing cabinet, which is a component of a large modular system, which has been thought of as one of the most beautiful modular systems that were ever made. So we're very, very excited because it will probably be the only place in the United States that someone could come in and use it outside of a formal education institution.
Yeah.
And the great thing is the instruments are actually being fully restored and maintained. They're not like things that maybe don't work or a little bit flaky to use. They're all being wonderfully restored and are ready to make music with, which I think is just a great opportunity.
Yeah.
That's typically the case with historic instruments.
Yes. There's synth museums where maybe this doesn't work or that's a bit flaky or no, you can't use this today.
And finding one in the first place is difficult, and then as you say, they tend not to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want hands-on.
Yeah.
Hands-on, ears open.
But what's really exciting is in addition to the ability for anyone to come in and rent time of these instruments, the foundation is now working on a residency program where there'll be sponsored musicians to get a chance to spend, I believe it's going to be a week with the gear, composing and recording. And that's a really exciting program the foundation is working on.
Yep. It will be open to anyone. It'll be a submission program, so people will submit they'll fill out an application, upload some sound files, and create a proposal, and we will fund them to come and use the instruments and create some content for both themselves and for us, but primarily for their experience to enhance their career.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that Dina and the foundation is here at Knobcon and shows like this is now we're looking for partners to help fund this program and put it together. There's lots of great things happening, such as the Artist in Residence program. She has access to these archives of how these instruments were designed, the original schematics and things like that, which are fantastic resources for other companies to take advantage of, in addition for supporting the foundation. So we're looking for other companies to come on board and help make these things even more available to people.
It's amazing to open it up, because these things can just kind of slip by and eventually time moves on.
They end up in collections at universities, things like that. And it's more important, particularly with the modular synth community today, which is so invested in the DIY spirit, rebuilding old modules and bringing them back to life, to make all these schematics and the plans and the thought behind them public so that people can start using them.
Yeah.
I've also witnessed a resurgence of usage of the old instruments, particularly 2600, in conjunction with Eurorack, in conjunction with DIY modular. So artists like Martha Barr, Panic Girl from Germany, she's been able to use all of these. And there's several other artists, both in the United States and overseas, that have been integrating modern systems and the more traditional systems. And I want to steer away from the idea of vintage at this point, because the 2600 especially, as well as the Odyssey, they're living instruments. People are remaking them, doing wonderful jobs for the most part, and being able to integrate them with MIDI input and output gives them a whole new life.
Yeah, the 2600M is now my main demo system when I'm doing videos and learning concepts or even learning new modules. It's much easier for me to set up a 2600, which has this wonderful module complement and is patchable, and use that as my center now when I'm learning a new module or trying to teach a new concept.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it was made as a learning machine, and Mark Doty, for instance, has used them for his learning synthesis videos to describe subtractive synthesis with the ARP 2600 interface is just a natural, because everything is mapped out ergonomically, which is definitely aligned with my father's philosophy and how he liked to work in all aspects of his life.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like the 2500 and the 2600 were designed substantially to be educational machines, but artists grabbed them and said, hey, we can perform with these. We can go out and take them out
they're
live.
very performative instruments.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't tried a 2500.
Well, talk to like
Maybe that's
Jean-Michel
now
Jarre,
accessible at some
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much. It's lovely to hear about what's coming and where this is coming from.
Yeah, and what's the website then for the foundation? People can find more information and join, become members.
Sure. Alan, ALAN, R Pearlman Foundation.org for organization.org. Alan R Pearlman Foundation.org. And we're very Googleable. You can find us for sure.
I'll put all the links in the description and people can find things.
Excellent.
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Fantastic.
Great.
Good to
Thanks
see
very
you.
much.
Thanks.